Right after college, I applied to intern in a program that was similar to a Big and Little Sister program. Much to my surprise, a month later, I discovered that my year-long intern program turned into 1 month, as I was asked to be the director of the program. This meant coordinating a Big and Little Sister program for 75 volunteers, planning activities, small group studies, and directing several 8-week camps on an island about 100 miles outside of the city, and I was only 21 years old. What do you do when crisis hits? You listen closely and choose wisely. After much consideration, I stepped into my courage and believed that with building an effective team, I could do this. During our 8-day camping trip, I would take a handful of girls and leaders on a 3-day canoe trip, teaching them to cook outdoors on reflector ovens and live with the bare necessities. All of the girls were runaways and placed in a girls' boarding home, so working with them was no easy task. One day, as we were making our last mile back to the main camp, the dark gray clouds rolled in, and the next thing we knew, we were in the midst of a huge storm. It took every bit of energy to keep our canoe right side up, and my canoe partner, one of the girls, was angry and refused to paddle. There was no way I could do this alone. As I gripped my paddle one more time, my hands began to blister, and I yelled, "Lula, put the oar in the water and start paddling." She could clearly see we were not moving forward, and we could not make it without her help. Finally, angry as she was, she submitted. What would normally be a half-hour smooth-sailing canoe trip had become a few hours of struggle through heavy waves and wind. When we, along with the other canoers, arrived at shore, we were exhausted. We had a lovely hot dinner waiting for us, and boy, did we eat. I expected the girls would be furious with me for making them paddle. I was prepared for the negative talk and bickering during dinner, but much to my surprise, these girls were ecstatic. They had had a huge breakthrough. They were angry, but perhaps for the first time in their life couldn't run. They resisted, but it didn't last. They had a choice. Either they listened to their leader and followed the instructions, or we would end up washed up on another island, wait for who knows how long for the storm to pass, without any food. The girls, after much resistance, changed their mindsets, followed the instructions of their leader, and experienced victory. What they learned could have taken months for us to teach them, and it wouldn't have had half the impact this experience had. Don't waste the storm. Look intently at what worked and what didn't work. What changes have you made in this past month as you weather the storm of the coronavirus crisis? What did you learn about yourself in the last 30 days? Your openness to learn and grow through this time is part of your story. Clarity comes out of chaos, and you can step out stronger than ever.